What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
A month.
Hi. I'd like to start today by showing some appreciation to Scott Lowen, who I feel is somewhat of an unsung hero. Chelsea Copsall, as we know, was the lead investigator on Sarah Boone's case. And I think she did a good job. I know that some of us, and us meaning me too, at times had issues with the fact that she seemed to be in a big rush. She interrupted Sarah a lot. But I have come to realize, and it was my feeling at first too, but I didn't know all the way now, that Chelsea really just couldn't even with Sarah. And I think that I don't think she got a great feeling about her on day one on scene. But by the time she walked into that interrogation, she had been through Sarah's phone. She had met the Torres family and a couple of the neighbors. So, all things considered, I think she kept her composure quite well. Scott Lowen, on the other hand, he pursued certain things that I am very grateful for. He, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was personal reasons, maybe that's naive of me because he is a homicide detective and I'm sure he sees a lot of shit, or professional reasons, which makes sense, had to get some answers, or tried to get some answers out of Sarah and try to drive a few things home. You know, he kind of pressed on about the fact that someone is dead here and it's her fault and that there's a family grieving, you know, like maybe you don't care about your laptop for a second and he asked her questions like, what do you think was going to happen if you left someone overnight in a suitcase? Stuff like that. And yes, Sarah's responses were, of course, very unsatisfying, but at least we have them and we know.
All day.
Anybody looking at it, I don't think anybody would look at that video and go, George is having fun right now. Here's the thing.
Went around the head.
We had to deliver news to them last night that their son was dead. There's not a whole lot of conversation that goes on after that. It's not a very easy thing to do.
Was it yesterday or Sunday? So
It'll be up to them to make their arrangements of what they want to do. Like she just told you, this quick, just being told last night, I'll pretty much be willing to wager that they have not even considered what they're going to do.
is that what you're going to tell them? Like his parents? It's like, oh yeah, and by the way, she did.
Did what?
Nonetheless, I have to live without him now.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
Punishment in itself.
Yeah. Definitely a tragic situation.
And it's unfortunate that stupid things like this happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Nonetheless, I have to live without him now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his daughters too.
Are you trying to make it worse? I miss him a lot.
I mean,
No more.
but my question has remained the same. What do you expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a position like that?
Yes, but you have to understand too.
No, just what would you expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a position?
I have no idea because I've never done it before.
Why have you never done it before?
Why would I? Why would I do it before?
Why did you do it now?
I clearly have said why.
I had several people that came up to me in that apartment complex said that you were drunk on a daily basis.
Oh my gosh. Right.
Regularly.
So thank you, Scott Lowen, for that. And I appreciated the way he spoke to Sarah and the way he brought the whole tenor down a little bit. And Sarah does not like that because she likes to keep things all crazy so you don't even know what the hell's going on. Which brings me to my next topic. And this is something that has come up quite a bit in our comments, meaning mine and you, me and you, our comments, which is the fact that, I mean, it's a given that everything Sarah says is a lie. But it's also a fact that for many of Sarah's lies, there is evidence to disprove it. And Sarah does not seem to give a shit about that. Sarah will tell you the sky is red while you're all looking up at it, and it is blue. And I thought that I would go over just a few of one is a more common thing that we've all talked about. One is something we've also talked about, but with a twist because I've noticed something different in reviewing the trial. The first, of course, is the broken TV. So let's have a look, shall we?
So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk.
And then told me that he's going to destroy my fucking television, and then I was going to remove it from the apartment. And if I didn't, I was going to be, again, unrecognizable to my son.
So did he grab the bat?
Absolutely, he already had that in his hand, and he told me that I had to videotape it.
Did you videotape it voluntarily?
Destroying the television we watched together.
Did this just happen?
What? No.
That's it.
Oh, no, when I moved in, we dropped it.
Couple things. One, how could they watch that TV together when it broke the second it hit that townhome? Also, she calls it an apartment in that, which I found interesting. Two, who keeps a broken TV around for years? Unless, I guess, you're keeping it around in case you want to use it in some way to incriminate your soulmate. The next lie, with evidence to disprove it, is, of course, Sarah Boone's stab wound, which we have all been very suspicious of and all but 100% confident that's a bullshit lie. I mean, for me, that's one of her most offensive lies because Sarah Boone's not cooking a steak. And if she did, it would be inedible. So I put together this little clip of Sarah Boone talking about her stab wound during a trial and the evidence presented. And let's take a look at that.
Is this the stab wound to your leg?
Yes, they can probably see it in there.
Is this the injury here? Looks like there's an indentation.
Here they show us a pretty gnarly looking wound, which, thanks to Sarah living like a drunk street rat, clearly got infected. Now we see Sarah's present day leg. And side note, she is not wearing light blue tights. These are her bare legs. But this is a wound on the inside of her shin. And who knows what this is on the outside of her calf. They also seem to be on the opposite legs. This is an example of why the Sarah Boone case almost drove me insane and leaves me with uneasy feelings. Because, and I know that they don't want to go off course during a trial, that they don't need to. But much like it gives me solace to know the answers that, or non-answers that Sarah had for Scott Lowen when he asked certain questions, like how can you say you're not drunk when you don't remember taking 2 videos and a photo? I would have liked to have known, just to see what would have happened or been said or how it would have been dealt with if Mr. J had, during his cross, confronted Sarah and the defense team and said, is this the same wound? And if so, how did it switch around to the other side and possibly the other leg? You know, the fact that that possibility was there and they didn't take it, it's not. I know that it's better legally and for the whole procedure and the whole thing that he didn't, but would it have killed him? Then, of course, we have her biggest lie and all of the evidence to disprove that.
Good time. I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-complimentous, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
And then we come to the allocution, which I've said many times and I stick by it. I will never talk about or watch for the actual contents within. But the allocution has proven itself to be very interesting in a lot of ways. And because I don't watch it really, I scroll by it a lot. And when I'm scrolling past it, or fast forwarding it, or whatever I'm doing to look for other things, I'm struck by the fact that Sarah looks very different. And it's not because she's in her scrubs, because let's face it, her little outfits for court look kind of the same. They certainly didn't look much better. It's through here that she looks different. The expression on her face is new. It is pure evil, and it's as if the mask is off now. Now, a few things about that. First of all, if it is indeed that the mask is off, that means that all up to this, before, that was the mask on. I also think that, and I've said this before, I think that Sarah gladly, really, was certainly willingly, gave up her entire free life to make that statement. Because Sarah knew that she could get up there and say whatever she wanted. Because there's she can't, nobody's going to confront her about her lies. Although that really did not seem to matter to her, and I can see why. Because nobody did confront her with her lies. I mean, I'm sure there were certain things that she was told by her counsel, every lawyer she had, that certain things you can't do because they can prove it right here that it's not. I don't know how that conversation went, but probably not well. And so when Sarah gets up there, you can see in her face, it's like Sarah Boone boiled down to her evil essence. And it's very striking. Let's just watch her get up on the stand first, and then we'll get into the next thing. Let's watch Sarah hoisting herself up on the stand, shackled up in her threadbare jail scrubs. She wrangles the mic like a T-Rex, all while wearing the nastiest expression I have ever seen.
Sarah Boone.
Now, can you imagine? You've had to, up on the stand, and then you're going to deliver the most vengeful, evil, cruel, sadistic speech ever given. That's nerve, right? Like that's balls. But Sarah does. And this brings me to what Sarah did. I had read, after the sentencing, of course, I had read a Reddit post that I looked for and could not find last night and a couple of nights prior. Not for lack of trying, but luckily I remember it very well. And it was written by somebody who was in the courtroom for the allocution. And he stated that when Sarah started speaking, about 2 minutes in, the Torres family got up and left. And for a while, I wasn't sure if that was true, and I was a little nervous because I really hoped they didn't sit through that. Not that I think they would necessarily, but just wanted to make sure they weren't there. Now, and when I had originally read this, it was before I had seen the text between Sarah and Lana where Sarah says that she had to give her sentencing to an empty room, something like that. And he said that when she started speaking, about 2 minutes in, the family got up and left, and that you can actually hear the door slamming about 2 minutes into her allocution, and you can see her reaction to it. So I went back just last night, and I started looking at that allocution. And sure enough, you can hear the slam and you can see the reaction. So here we go.
My goal begins with George Torres, and every time he slapped me, kicked, punched, spit on, raped.
Sarah had to read the rest of her allocution without her intended audience.
Tripped,
What a
stole
shame.
from, lied, terrorized, threatened, humiliated, forced, degraded, made me cry. Every time he tried to end me, defeat, or destroy.
It brings me great joy that they were not there for that, and I thought the slam was well timed too. I'm going to see you out with just a few little clips of some of Sarah Boone's, in my opinion, most disgraceful moments during the interrogation, which we all agree never gets old. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.
Which I swore my son's life was unintentional. How do I go about getting his wedding ring, engagement ring?
It's at the medical examiner's office. It'll come to us eventually, and then...
It'll be released to the next of kin.
Yeah, okay.
I bought it for him.
That is a civil issue. It was on his finger, it goes to them, they're the ones that are going to release it. We don't have any say in that.
So I won't get that back. And nonetheless, if you really want to know, and I hope it doesn't get them in trouble, but he is over here illegally.